I want to talk about beginnings. I posted a video called Just Start. I'm really looking at the process of starting things. Interested in the beliefs and assumptions I have around starting. Specifically, I'm looking at a specific piece of content, which is when I go to start working on improvising, which is something I do every day on my guitar. So I'm looking at the process of what happens when I go to start improvising. I want to get really clear about that process. What I noticed when I started scrutinizing this is that I had all this self-hate, these voices of self-hate and negativity. Negative self-talk is maybe how you've heard of it. Well, I use the term the voices of self-hate. You know, it could be one voice, could be more than one. Anyway, I was listening, the voices were saying to me things like, oh, you know, start your improvisation work after you do this, or I'll do it a little later on. I just noticed there was a lot of resistance, and some of the voices were, you know, specific. Some of them were sort of just a subtle, general feeling of like not wanting to start. So, the closer I looked at that and what the voices were saying to me, and the beliefs or assumptions behind that, like why was I resisting? Why was I resisting starting? Why was it this big chore every day to start that work? What I noticed is that there was an underlying belief or assumption that if I wasn't good at it, if I wasn't, you know, excellent at doing it, then I wasn't lovable, I wasn't loved, I wasn't enough, and I wasn't worthy. That's some deep shit right there. Really good to see. So by looking at specifically at what I was resisting, and then the beliefs or assumptions behind that, I'm able to start to give myself some freedom to act in a different way. So the first point is that wherever you're feeling some resistance, where you're hearing the voices of self-hate, or you're feeling like doing something as a chore, that's resistance. That's, you know, conditioning, self-hate there. And to instead of going away from it, go right towards it. Because by going towards it and seeing what the story you're being told is, or what the beliefs or assumptions are, there's freedom there for you if you're willing to look at the process. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, so I was willing to look at this process, right? And to see that, wow, I have this belief and assumption that like if I'm not the best at something, if I'm not excellent at it, if I'm not good at it, then I don't want to do it. I'm scared of it. That I'm not lovable. I'm not enough. Wow. Yikes. That is a pretty profound realization to have. Because the voices of self-hate and conditioning, the way we've been conditioned to be in the world, talks to us about a lot of things. And if it's saying that we can't try anything or do anything or work on anything, can't learn a new skill or, you know, be a beginner at anything unless we're going to be guaranteed to be good at it, that has catastrophic ramifications, right? You could just see how your life shrinks in proportion to that story being the controlling story. So, you know, the voices of self-hate tell us a lot about a lot of things. They're constantly chiming in. And if you're letting yourself be controlled by that, not good. So here's what I saw. And I came to this realization with the help of my Zen teacher, Sherry Huber, that, you know, wanting to be able to improvise and play jazz, that's just like an impulse from my heart. I love that music. Some of my musical heroes are jazz musicians, and it's just something I'm drawn to. I love it. I admire it. I want to play it. That's just an impulse from my heart. That, wanting to learn how to do that and be involved in that music, that's totally different from wanting to be good. Like, those two things aren't correlated. Wanting to be good and wanting to play jazz, for me, those are two different things. And I was bamboozled by ego and conditioning and the voices of self-hate into thinking that those two things, like one leads to another. Now, of course, you're going to say, well, one does lead to another. Like if you love playing jazz, chances are you'll be good at it. Yes, you're right. But that's if the love and the joy of the music, that's if you just focus on that, right? Anytime you do anything for, ego or conditioning or some outcome, like being good, chances are it's not going to be that good. Anytime you're doing something for the self or the me, for the outcome, for the success, for the being good of it, it's not going to be good. If you're doing it just because you got to do it, because it's joyful, it expresses your heart, because music is life and life is music, you don't care whether you're good or not. You're just in the flow. You're just playing out of your mind. You're just enjoying. You're just being part of life. So that's the second point. I mean, I've probably made like 10 points right here, but this point that like doing something because you love it and it's fun and you're in the flow and because you have this impulse to do it, that does not necessarily, nor should it be correlated to being good. Those are two separate processes. They're not dependent on each other. I mean, we do things, we're called to do things. We want to try things because we want to try them. It's an impulse from life. The whole other thing of being good, of being lovable, of being special, of what it says about us, about who we are if we're good at it, that's added on by self-hate. So I've learned a lot from this process of just looking at beginnings, at how I start something and what the feelings and the beliefs and assumptions are that are there. So I hope this helps you scrutinize something that maybe you're resisting starting, or that you notice you want to start, but there's a lot of noise in your head about it. Check out your beliefs or assumptions. What are you making it mean about you?